I know for me, I'm really big on the big reveal, and I didn't realize until last week when I'm listening to the ladies, which I was glad to hear that I'm not the only one who has communication issues with my wife.
Hey, they kept it a buck.
Bro, you know what's crazy?
no
I was doing
holds
the camera angle changes, and I'm like, Raquel is talking, and you're looking at her. I'm like, why does this low key feel like an intervention?
Bruh. Donald was sitting there with his arms crossed. He
I was like,
My man's about to be a meme. Will Smith meme just.
oh shoot! Camera was rolling.
but on.
I was like, nah, bro, we not about to do that. Nah.
Ain't happening, Captain. Yeah.
We ready, Freddie?
We ready. Ready like Freddie ain't waiting on bacon.
Come on now. Dang, bro. I'm trying to get the
hey, bro.
It's
you
the
know what
gift.
I'm saying?
Not my gift. Not my gift.
Well, shoot.
Let's get this started.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
Hey, what's happening? It's Don the Blaptist here. Of course, you know what it is. It is the Watch Me Develop podcast. To my right, I got my brother, none other than John Butcher Jr.
What's happening, baby?
And to my left, fresh to death, got my boy, Steven Joshua Bonds.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
We need air horns, man. We need sound effects. We need that.
Dude, my daughter has like the little red button thing that Dad got like a couple years ago. It's been in our house this whole time, and she presses it 24/7.
That's what we need, man. You need to bring it next time. Next time we got here, so we can have a little bit extra pizzazz to the podcast. Anyhow, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching us, whether it's on you know where to watch us at, or whether you listening to us audibly in your car, in your vehiculars, while you're Spotify, on your commute,
Apple,
on your journey.
Google. Shout
out to the Drama family who are avid supporters of the podcast, man. I actually was just hollering at them the other day when I was on my way home from work, and they were on their way to go see moms for Mother's Day weekend. And he said, "Man, y'all helping me stay awake, so I can take this trip." So shout out to Alec and Zena, man. Appreciate you guys, love you guys, miss you guys. Yep. Hope to see you in the near future. But anyhow, man, thank you guys for tuning in and joining us. As you guys know, recently we had the ladies of the podcast on. And I got to moderate that. It was a fire podcast. We've been getting a lot of good feedback from that because it was great to see something different other than our faces on here and hearing our voices. But, it is what it is, man. But, again, we are in development, and we wanted to share every aspect pretty much of the development process for us. And a big part of that, a huge part of that, an intricate part of that, is the fact that the part that our wives play
absolutely
in our development. Iron sharpens iron. I know that I wouldn't be able to get to where I'm at and accomplish what I accomplish without the help of my wife and the support of my wife, man. So
what's crazy is I was here filming, obviously, but like my wife articulated something that made me have like the blow my mind emoji when she was explaining. She's like, John and I have done everything together. Mm. He's like, when he was a drummer and traveling, I would go to all his shows. When he would do something else, we were in school. We went and took classes together.
Yeah, because didn't her handle used to be like the drummer's girl or something like that?
Yeah. But like when she said that, that made me kind of go, wow. How one, obviously we've been together for some time now, but two, just like I get it now. I understand. Like the whole time I'm thinking like, oh man, she resents the life that we have and all these other things. But she's like, no, I just want to be with you. I want to hang out with you. I want to be there with you as you're doing it. And so it really kind of, even just in that episode, Watch Me Develop, like it helped us out like a lot. I explained it. She's like, what do you mean? I've been telling you that. I'm like, but you've never said it like that before.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
it's
really
amazing to find out how much impact or how I don't know how to say it exactly, but like how much impact there can be on a situation when things are unspoken, right? Like you said, it was refreshing to be able to hear from her what it is that she thought, how she felt about everything, and just basically what her perspective was. And a lot of times, we as men, we underestimate not hearing certain things. And I think we as men, a lot of times, we're a little bit less expressive, because I know for me, I'm really big on the big reveal, and I didn't realize until last week when I'm listening to the ladies, which I was glad to hear that I'm not the only one who has communication issues with my wife.
And they kept it up, but
Bro, you know what's crazy? I was doing
bar.
the camera angle changes, and I'm like, Raquel is talking, and you're looking at her. I'm like, why does this low key feel like an intervention?
bruh. Donald was sitting there with his arms crossed.
I was like,
my man's about to be a meme. Will Smith meme just.
Oh shoot! Camera was rolling.
But on the real though, it's just I'm really into the big reveal, and what's funny about it is I think a lot of it has to do with. I love my wife. My wife is my best friend. I still see her as my girlfriend a lot. And when you're in that stage where you're dating as a young man, you really care about a girl, about that young lady that you're with, and you want to surprise her.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's what it is with us, is that I think we're kind of stuck in that phase where we want to surprise her. We want to let there be some mystery. We want her to be surprised at what we're capable of. And the thing is, like, she's with us because she saw that. Like, that's something about, like, a gift that God has given women, and the enemy likes to work it against them when they hook up with bad dudes, right? Because women have, like, this ability to be able to see potential in us, right? And so, fortunately, we're with women who have been, that's what's helped them to stick through the tough times, the ebbs and flows of everything. And so what I'm learning is I need to be able to communicate. Like, now we're not in that phase anymore where it's like about the surprise. Let us surprise everybody. Let's the two become one, right?
Yeah.
Father, Son, and Spirit are one. They said, let us, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with us. We're a reflection of them.
Yeah.
So we are to have the same approach when it comes to our creative endeavors. Is let us make. Let us, you know what I'm saying? And then we say that it's good. You know what I mean? That's what I was learning and getting the revelation of that when we had them on here. So what about you, Josh? I know you learned a couple of things.
No, I definitely learned a lot. Sometimes it's easier to receive information when you're not hearing it from the same source over and over again. So to hear from both of your wives, things that Nadia's been trying to drill, inside of my head for a minute, so I was like, oh, okay, some things that, like when Raquel was speaking, I felt like it was like marital advice, in regards to communication. But then also I think one of the greatest takeaways for just my household alone was inviting her into our work, having her come on was actually I'm gonna put her on blast. It was the first time. No, it was the second episode she watched of Watch Me Develop. Y'all seen how surprised she was when she heard it was 11 episodes?
Right.
She was like, wait, what? Where did the time go? Because she ain't been watching. But it's because she's busy with them kids at the house,
facts.
like she said, But man, the joy and the light in her face when we sat down and watched the episode. We watched the episode twice together. I've watched it like 3 or 4 times so far. And it sparked a creative desire in her, to want to use her platform to bring forth like some of the dreams and some of the vision that she kept
She don't realize how natural she looked. Actually, you know what I'm saying? They were sitting there and they were like all nervous and stuff at first, but they actually once things started rolling, like they were like just natural. It wasn't something that was like all scripted or anything or put together. Like they kind of like once they got comfortable and relaxed and realized what it was, like it was just really natural, which was really cool, especially like seeing Nadia, because I know prior to any of this, like she had her own thing going on at one point in time on the socials. And so it's good to see that like I saw that in her once she got comfortable and got acclimated to what was going on.
Yeah.
She was so natural with it. And then I saw you record, like you posted on the Reels, I think, the replay or you guys watching it. And I saw exactly what it was that you were describing. Like she seemed like she was really kind of awestruck a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Like even in that reel that I posted, I was recording her and she was like, "You're not even listening. Like, watch the episode. Like, you only watched one." Anyways, it was definitely there. We made an event out of it. And something else that I learned this week, man, is like our wives have so much just so much potential. You know, there's so much inside of them. But what I've noticed with Nadia, especially having young kids, and I'm sure you have, JR, as well, like in regards to the roles that we play, the kids actually need them. You know what I mean? Like they need them first. Like in regards to even like they're their food source initially. You know what I mean? So they end up holding down the fort at home while we're out doing what we can do to provide, you know, and make sure that things at home are secure. But there's so many. There's degrees, you know what I mean? There's gifts and there's talents. There's so many other skills that that aren't activated on a daily basis. And there was something that happened during that podcast that said, boop, you know.
For you?
For her.
Okay.
For her. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, there is a lot lying dormant there. I want to find out more ways to invite her into our work and then also create a space for her to, you know, follow that path for herself.
That's really refreshing, man, because even like what Donald was saying in the last episode, he was like, sometimes it feels like you're on a roller coaster and you're kind of locked in, you're on for the ride as far as with wives, with husbands.
Yeah.
But like, I think people forget that before they were wives, they were just Nadia, they were just Erica, they were just Raquel.
Facts.
But it's like, you know, they have visions and dreams too. And not that, you know, we have to diminish one for the other necessarily, but it's more so like, hey, not only are they here to support us and just raise our kids, but they got good ideas. They have great ideas too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I think that needs to be empowered. For you women that aren't married yet, like don't just bank all of your chips on just getting married. Like, hey, get yourself right first.
Yeah. It's what I heard you just describing is the fact that, which is something that we all need to understand, is that our identity is found in God. You know what I'm saying? We have we bear an identity, we bear His image before we are even connected or bonded with anybody else, right? And so that's a huge thing for you know, the fellas, a huge thing for the ladies that are out there, to know who you are in Christ before, you know, you hook up with somebody else. Because the thing is that it's hard enough to maintain your identity in the world that we live in right now, right? Because everybody wants to put a label on you. Everybody wants to, and that's a huge thing that I'm combating. Actually, Raquel and I both are combating with our kids, specifically with our daughters, because it seems like with the females, with the ladies, that they're constantly being fed this you know, these ideas and these messages of who society wants them to be or who they should be and what they should look like and so on and so forth. With dudes, it's not. They get the same thing, but it's. I'm really seeing it a lot with the young ladies. You know what I mean? And I think that it's very important for if you're out there, if you're a parent and you're listening to this, that you are constantly reminding your children of who they are, reminding them to where to not take the cues of who their identity comes from and so on and so forth. But yeah, like you were saying, our wives had their own identity prior to us, and it's important to understand that, like, when we come together, that it's not that we're trading one identity for the other, but we're actually coming together and it's a collective identity, and now we are enhancing each other's identity.
Yeah.
So
Two become one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And they holding it down, man. They holding it down so that we can do what we do. Man, so in regards to like the whole aspect that the Dr. Phil moment you had at the end, like we all know that we need to communicate. You know what I'm saying? Super transparent. I'm curious to know, like, what are the things that you guys know could like advance you forward, could push things forward at home, in business, in life in general, that you know you could do that you're not doing currently right now, so that we can set a standard right here for our viewers to see, and they can watch us develop and come back and ask, like, okay, how was that going next episode?
I think Raquel gave us the vocab word of the month. Decisive communication. I like how she put it. Communication is one thing. Being decisive is another thing.
Yeah.
And another problem is too, it's not like we don't speak, but I think sometimes when we're kind of just, spitballing and throwing ideas out, I know with my wife, she's like, what are we doing? What's next?
Yeah.
And she'll keep asking me until I give her an answer. And I'm coming to realize, like, she just wants to answer so she can have some security in knowing where we're going. And it kind of came out the other day because she had mentioned we had went out to lunch. And that was with Tony and them.
Oh, yeah.
That Sunday dinner or whatever. Yeah. And she's all like, I'm talking to Tony. And I was like, yeah, man. What I had said was, I'm looking to stop doing as much weddings in this next season.
Oh.
She took that as, we're not doing weddings anymore.
Doing weddings no more.
Right.
And then the other day, I get a call from my mentor, like, hey, I need a B-reel shooter. Can you come help me with this wedding? I'm like, all right, yeah, bet, I got you. And my mom calls me, goes, I thought you weren't doing weddings anymore. Because I asked her to watch the kids.
Yeah.
But kind of being clear and giving that, clear communication is what's going to help me. And I'm committing to that.
Yeah.
Because with me, because I'm so busy, I'm constantly thinking. I constantly have 7-8 windows open. I got a busy week this week. That whole joke where the music is playing, I don't know what window it's coming from. That's me, bro.
Me too.
And so because I'm constantly thinking about stuff and I never stop thinking, I've already had the conversation in my head. But when Erica is like, how come you didn't tell me you were doing this? I'm like, well, because you didn't tell her, bro.
I thought I told you.
I thought I told you, but I didn't. So I think just being intentional about taking that time to sit down maybe once a week, and we talked about this too, what we're going to be doing is sitting down once a week at the beginning of the week to say, hey, this is what the week is going to look like. I'm not going to be home until bedtime. I'm going to try my best to come home for lunch, but it's going to be kind of slim pickings this week. This is just for this week.
Yeah.
Next week, it'll be different.
Yeah.
And so I think kind of making that clear, using the calendar app, bro, and showing her like, hey, I'm being intentional with my time is what's helping her too. So she doesn't think I'm just like leaving the house just to get away from the kids or something like that.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
But yeah.
Yeah. I'd say for me, probably along the lines of the same thing, is just the decisive communication aspect of things. That's something that I'm learning to do, especially after the interview.
I'm gonna make a meme now. I'm gonna make a meme, a GIF.
Yeah, decisive communication. No, but yeah, definitely the communication factor. Again, kind of referring back to what I said earlier, as far as understanding that we're doing this together. That it's not just I'm doing this. Like, though, our something else that they brought up in the interview is that finding out that we're doing things apart, but it's ultimately working toward the same goal.
That was powerful.
That was a huge thing, and I think that if you're not able to discern that, you can mistake that for being that I'm trading my identity for you know what I'm saying, I'm trading my identity for his identity, or I'm trading my identity for her identity. Because the thing is that, okay, we got kids, somebody got to take care of the kids, and while duty calls over here. And so, though I might not be actively involved with the child care at the moment, what I'm doing is ultimately going to support the care of the children.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas you have a more direct role to play in the care of our children at this moment.
Exactly.
And so those are things that take decisive communication. Like, we have to remind each other, just the way that you, when you find a challenging circumstance and situation in your journey of pursuing what it is that you're trying to build, that you have to remember your why. You have to remind her of what the why is. What are we working towards, babe? What are we working towards?
Yeah.
We're working towards this. Oh yeah, okay, that's it. All right. Well, I'll sit here with the kids. Or you find a way to, execute on the task that you gotta do and go and relieve her. You know what I'm saying? As soon as possible.
Yeah.
It kind of goes into the conversation that we had a few days ago. I think you called me and I think it was after watching the interview. One of the big things is that we have to encourage each other on this journey, and understand that if one of us is feeling down, that we have to be in a position where we're sensitive enough to discern that she needs to be recharged right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
The same way, like we can't be constantly like just going to war and then expecting her to rub our back and soothe our wounds and everything.
Yeah.
We have to understand that there's a battle that's going on at home as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that battle comes, the wounds and stuff that she's experiencing come from them blessings of children that we have. Right? You know what I'm saying? The doo-doo diapers, the scraped knees, the tantrums, the messes the messes that are made, daily. The lack of the sleep deprivation, all these things.
Terrible twos, bro.
Right.
Fearsome fours, bro.
Hey, we can gravely underestimate the impact and the wear and tear that they experience, in rearing our children and being homemakers. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one of the things that's been great for us. Raquel's been a homemaker for almost like 20 years now, which is crazy. And it's been a huge sacrifice because, we can often look at our lives and be like, man, we could have been so much further along now. We could have had this and this and this. And that would have been at the expense of somebody else raising our children. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we had communicated early on in the beginning what we kind of had planned for the raising of our children and what we wanted that to look like. And so we've been blessed to be able to see that plan pretty much executed to our expectation for the most part. But again, going back to the question, man, like what are things that I'm may not be doing that could help? Again, it's the communication aspect, but then also the other thing for me personally is I think I like watching TV a little too much. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's some shows and stuff that I like watching and everything, and really at the end of the day, I could be using that time to be more productive. Yeah. But I think that's something that God has given me the grace, or activating the grace in my life right now, to be able to kind of push away and walk away from that, so I can pursue some other things that I deem as more important. Yeah.
Yep. For me, man, in regards to family life, definitely that conversation that we had struck something with me, and it opened up conversation for Nadia and I. I realized when I'm cutting hair, like a lot of people, they come through, they see, like, essentially I'm cutting in the man cave, right? It's own solitude, got my room, got the TV, got the couch out there. And people ask me, like, man, do you ever come out here and just like chill and hang out and watch? And I'm like, no, because when I'm off work, I want to leave here.
Get out of here. Yeah.
Like I don't want to stay here. I don't want to be in here. And Nadia just told me the other day, like, man, essentially home is work for me. So I try to relieve her at home in certain ways, but for her mind is always on work mode if she's at home. Yeah. You know what I mean? So for me, something that I know that I need to work on is getting her out of the house. You know what I mean? So she can change location, so she can get a change of scenery, like we was talking about. Yeah. So that's one thing I'm gonna be very intentional about.
That's dope.
Next time she comes on here, ask her how life is going with these kids. Hopefully, she feels charged up. Because I know she's probably been being ran, and I haven't even really peeped that she ain't really getting a break that she needs. The break that she needs.
That's where it kind of gets dangerous too, is when it becomes a competition. Like, well, life is harder for me right now because I'm doing all this stuff to provide for the family. And she's like, you forget that I birthed these 2 children,
right.
that you helped me do this.
Right.
But it's just kind of thing, like, it's not a competition to see who's having a more sucky life right now.
Right.
And to realize, too, like, you guys have heard this. I'm not sure where I first heard this from, but, like, we can't have bad days at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like...
Absolutely.
I think, yeah. When, like, if you come in, you sense, like, there's a disturbance in the force, like, something's up. It's like, okay, John Mariah, come on. Like, we're going to leave.
Right.
She always laughs at me because she's like, every time you quote unquote take the kids, you go to somebody else's house. I'm like, yes, because I can't do this by myself. That's why I say you're the better parent. Because
right.
I can't. But I'm like, by any means, you know, like you're saying, I think that's really powerful what you're saying. Like realizing, wow, maybe her mindset is the fact that she's always here. She's always having to watch the kids. She takes this as not so much as a job, but just like something she's always doing.
Yeah.
Having that change of scenery could be the thing that, you know, like you said, helps her feel charged up.
Right.
Just getting away. Dude, the other day, because we're in the process of moving, I didn't have a whole lot to give for Erica's birthday this past week.
Yeah.
So we went to her favorite place in the world. We went to Muir Woods.
Yeah.
And we walked.
Yeah.
It was simple. It was quick to the point. And she's like, this is like one of the better birthdays she's had in a long time. Mm-hmm. Just because it was a change of scenery. It was her favorite place to be at.
Out the house.
And yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a simple trip, bro. To get the kids in the car, make sure they had snacks, and we was good.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because I think that was kind of what I alluded to. Because I know that very well. You know, we had 3 that were in diapers at the same time, so I know that very well. And it is a huge thing. And you know, just something as simple as the change of environment. Because again, we're talking about working towards the dream, working towards the goal, and dreaming together. And so, for instance, let's just say that again, our roles are split right now, right? Mm-hmm. We're not able to, like, Erica's not able to go and shoot with you when you're doing production stuff because she has the kids. Nadia is not able to go and do the product, you know, stuff with you for Ergo. But what you can do is, okay, what's another aspect of our dream? Well, one aspect of our dream is that we want to live in a nice neighborhood. Mm-hmm. We want to have a beautiful home. So let's go all hop in the car and let's go visit, you know what I'm saying, get some Jamba Juice or something or whatever, and let's just go for a drive. We're going to go drive through these neighborhoods where we'd like the kids to be raised at, or where we'd like to live at. You know what I'm saying? Just so we can elevate, because think about it, just for people who live in a situation that is not necessarily conducive to you being successful. Let's just say you live in a you know, a jacked up neighborhood or whatever, and you're subject, because of your environment, you're subjected to a bunch of madness and craziness. It's important for you to be able to take trips away. You know what I'm saying? Even if that means you just drive to the other side of town. Even if that means you just drive up to the hillside area of the town that you live in, so you can look up and see the cityscape, so your mind is elevated above what you see all of the time. Right. Because perspective is everything. Perspective makes the difference in everything. A lot of us, we wait on our circumstances to change, but really it's a matter of perspective that needs to change. That'll change everything. Right? And so that's a lot of times what it has to be, because just a change of environment can change our mind. It shifts our focus. You know, saying, like she said, she's constantly at home, and home is work for her. Right. And so everywhere she looks is work. But when you take her out of that environment, you know what I'm saying, and you know, begin to affirm her and begin to let her know how appreciative you are of, and how much what she's doing matters and helps towards the goal. You know what I'm saying? That makes all the difference in the world. Yeah. And so those are some takeaways that I've learned after, you know, 22 years of marriage and almost 20 years of raising kids. Yeah. Those are, you know, it took me some time. You guys are learning a lot earlier than I did, but at the same time, those are the things that matter. It's like the little things, you know what I'm saying? Just like little things, if left unattended, can cause big problems. Yeah. The little things that we do along the way that are proactive can yield, they're little seeds, right? That you can plant that will yield and bear great fruit.
Yeah. I think for our viewers who aren't married, who don't have kids, the one thing that I want you guys to take away from this is when you do decide, if you should decide to attach your life to someone else's, like you lose a certain amount of bandwidth or time in the day because now you're sharing your day with someone else who has desires that aren't your organic desires. You know what I mean? And then you add kids to the situation and you have less time. Each kid is going to be less time and less that you can do for yourself. And you only have a certain capacity to do so much. So what starts falling off is like the gym. You know what I mean? Hobbies, things that you typically would do for yourself that you thoroughly and that you like doing, because what you used to have hobbies of or what you used to want to do now is replaced with what you absolutely have to do, right? So I think something I'm realizing in this season now, having, adding a wife and kids and dogs and businesses is I need to maximize my time.
Yeah.
I need to maximize my time. And I wish I had maximized my time and was real schedule, and my time management was better before I added all these other pieces to the equation, So in regards to me as an individual, something that I know I need to do to just push the ball forward at my house is waking up early, starting at about 6 a.m. 5 a.m. would do it better, but I need to be up for the Ozarks. You know what I mean?
Congratulations, Josh. Yeah. Glad you got that revelation, man.
I've got this revelation about 4 times now. I haven't acted on it, but watch me develop.